Just want to take this opportunity to welcome all of our incoming ninth grade to Cascade High School. It's an exciting time for all of us. I am Ryan Fritz, the principal at Cascade High School.
I am Emily Phillips, and I'm the school counselor at Cascade High School. And Mr. Kedley, he is our assistant principal and activities director. He is not joining us for this presentation, but he will be mentioned throughout this presentation as well. All students in the 8th grade at Cascade Junior High and at Acquin received a folder with registration materials, and I just want to point out what those materials are. So students will have access to our curriculum guide, which contains information about all of the course offerings at Cascade High School. I did not print a copy for each student, but there are copies located in the counseling office, or you can access the curriculum guide on Cascade High School's website under the counseling office, and you can download that from there and read the descriptions as necessary. But all students do have a registration sheet, and this contains all the courses that are available to 9th grade students, and I will cover this a little bit more in depth later on in the presentation. But I also want to point out that all of your students went to a class fair at Cascade High School on January 28th, where they were able to meet with all the high school teachers about course offerings and elective opportunities for them next year, so they can make a more informed decision about their course selections for next school year. There is also a contracted class form, which is an orange sheet in the folders. If a student in the 9th grade is going to take a college level course, they need to fill this sheet out, just put their name on it and their social security number. So the only one that is actually available is Technology Solutions. So again, if your child is going to sign up for Technology Solutions, I need their social security number on it so we can register them with NICC. Otherwise, you can disregard that orange form. I've also included a list of current teachers and what department they teach in at the high school, as well as a sample schedule so you can see what a schedule will look like that hopefully your child will receive before they leave for summer break. I've also included an RAI core course list, and I will touch on this a little bit further along in the presentation, but these courses do count as core courses for admissions purposes into Iowa, Iowa State, and UNI. And also on your child's folder, there is information too about core courses, RAI, and admissions into these 3 schools. And I'm not giving you this because I'm advocating that your child attend one of these 3 schools. I'm just giving it to you as a guide and to use for admissions pretty much into any college or post-secondary institution.
One other thing to look at is the state of Iowa does require certain immunizations and screenings to be done at certain ages as your child does progress through our school system. And so if there are any of those that are needed to be done, you will be in touch from our school nurse, Miss Cindy Trum, who would make sure all of those are up to date. One of the things that we do believe in here at Cascade High School is that parent involvement is essential to the process. We do think learning is a two-way street, and I think communication between the school and home is essential. So we do think that taking some time to discuss your kids' future and that the courses they're taking do line up with some of their goals and aspirations is important. And as always, I think everybody here is open to help and free to have any questions and to answer those to the best that we can. Here we do have a trimester schedule. We are in a 3x6 trimester, and what that roughly equates to is that your child or student will have 60-minute classes every day with about a 30-minute lunch. We do meet every day for those, and students can take up to 6 classes per trimester, for which they would earn a credit for each of those. So the maximum amount of credits that a student could get in a year would be 18. There is also the possibility for a student to earn more than 18 credits by taking early bird classes, which generally are in our physical education department and our music department, just to make sure that when kids do sign up for classes, that they are able to get the majority of the classes in which they sign up for.
Next, I'm going to cover our graduation requirements. All students are required to have 58 credits in order to graduate from Cascade High School. So students will take 2 English credits each year for a total of 8. Students need to take 6 credits of math, or the equivalency of 3 years. In addition, social studies, students now with this graduating class need to take 7 credits, so they'll take 3.5 years of social studies, and we have specific courses that they have to take to meet those requirements. In addition to 3 years of science, and again, we have specific classes that students have to take in order to earn those 6 credits. All students must take 1 PE credit a year, and that could be PE, strength and conditioning, personal wellness. All freshmen and sophomores do take 1 credit of health, or must have that credit earned by the time they graduate. If your child was advanced in math as an 8th grade student and took Health 1 for high school credit, that is applied on their transcript, and they do not need to retake Health then as a freshman. And then all students will need to take personal finance and then pick up elective credits along the way to achieve that 58 or higher mark. All right, next I'm going to talk a little bit about our graduation credit requirements and how they align with university admissions requirements. So like we do, we require 4 years of English. University admissions requires 4 years of English. Again, we require 3 years of math, 3 years of science. They only require 3 years of social studies, but your child will have 3.5 years or more. And then 2 to 4 years of a foreign language. And that varies dependent on the institution that students look to go to, but always a good recommendation would be to take at least 2 years of a foreign language so your opportunities aren't limited when you are a senior making those decisions on where you're going to transition after high school. I did mention about the RAI a little bit ago, and I want to bring our attention back to that. So the region schools, our Iowa, Iowa State, and UNI, have developed a formula to determine whether a student would be admitted into those institutions. So they look at a student's ACT score, their GPA, and the number of core courses that they completed in high school. And that's where I gave you that sheet to look at what constitutes a core subject area. And if a student achieves a 245 or better, they are then automatically admitted into one of those to those institutions. Now again, I'm not saying that your child needs to go to one of these institutions. I'm just giving this to you as for more information and as a guide to help you make an informed decision for your post-secondary plan.
And I would just add too, as you look at those different scores, it is also light to take a step back at the end of each year and just make sure that you're making progress to attain the goals that you're looking to attain and attend post-secondary education if you choose to at the place that you choose.
Okay, next we're going to touch a little bit on college opportunities at Cascade High School. So at the beginning I did mention on that orange form there's a class called Technology Solutions, and that is a new college level class at Cascade High School that is open to freshmen. But otherwise, as your student progresses into 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, we have a lot more opportunity for them to take. So what is college credit at Cascade High School? So there are 2 options that we have. We have concurrent and PIC or alternative concurrent. So concurrent classes are classes that are taken at Cascade High School, and they are dual credit. So you take them here, you get high school credit, but you also get college credit because our instructors have their masters in that specific content area. So for example, Composition 1, accounting, statistics, we have a plethora of options for kids to take here at our building. Then PIC or alternative concurrent, the name just depends on which community college you use. NICC calls them PIC, Kirkwood calls them alternative concurrent, but they are college level classes that students can take outside of the school day that are not offered at Cascade High School. So it has to be a course that is something that Cascade High School does not offer. So some examples would be developmental psychology or world civilizations. We did include NICC's contact person, Caitlin Stelkin, and Kirkwood's contact person, Craig Statmuller, just so your child may hear from them a time or two throughout their time here at Cascade High School. So we just wanted you to be familiar with their names.
Yeah, and I would just add that we do have some really good opportunities here at Cascade High School, and a lot of those are the result of the partnerships that we have with both NICC and Kirkwood. Both of them are seen on campus as much as they can, although obviously with COVID that has been greatly reduced this year. But we are looking for different ways, and there have been letters and things that have been mailed home over the course of this year so far, just making you and making all of our students aware of the opportunities that each of those educational institutions provides for our kids.
Okay, so now we're going to touch base on the registration sheet, and I will show you an example of how to fill this out, but I just want to point out that if you look at your registration sheet, the required courses for 9th grade are listed at the top in a box, and then you'll see electives, which those courses are listed under each subject area at the bottom of the sheet. So when you're going through your electives, I just want you to have your child consider their current interests, their post-secondary plans. All students in 8th grade are required to complete a career exploration information system. So ours is MAP, My Academic Plan, and all 8th graders have navigated through that and have done interest exploratories and did some career and college planning as well. So they can use that also as a tool to help them select their courses. And then one other thing is to think about our prerequisites. So for example, you have to take art exploration or have had junior high art in order to take drawing, or you need to take industrial technology in order to take construction. So just be mindful of some of those things as well.
And I would just add to that too, is one of the unique things about students when they enter their high school career is that they do have opportunities to try new things, and that's something that we greatly encourage. That maybe even if something like industrial tech is not a long-term goal, then maybe that would still be a course just to try and see if they have any interest in it. Some of our business classes and other elective opportunities that we have here. It's just a good opportunity for our students to explore and try new areas of study.
Okay, so how are you going to complete your registration sheet? I need you to circle 18 course numbers of the classes that you would like to take. So for example, English 1 has 2 course numbers, so that counts as 2. Health has 1, that counts as 1 course number. If you're taking an early bird course, such as strength and conditioning, jazz band, or vocal affinity, then you would circle 21 course numbers. If you do 2 early birds, then it would be 24. 1 study hall is allowed per trimester, so just note that if your child, though, does take a study hall all 3 trimesters for all 4 years, they will graduate with 60 credits, and 58 are required, so just there is no room for failure. Study hall has a course number, but no credit is given for taking it, but we still have to count it as a spot in their schedule. You will see a section for alternative classes at the bottom. I ask that all students list at least 3 alternative classes because if I can't get them into one of their electives, that's where I look as the next course to fill in that spot on their schedule.
Yeah, and I would just like to add real quick too with study halls. One of the things that we do talk to a lot of kids about too is just the opportunity that study hall can always be added later on if there's something that they find that they need some more time to do work or to study and those sorts of things, that if a student does have an interest in a class, it is much easier to move them into a study hall after the trimester has begun than it is to take them from a study hall to try another course. So we always recommend that if a kid isn't sure or a student isn't sure, we always recommend them to try one of those elective courses, and then we can make adjustments as we need to support them if the opportunity arises.
Yeah, that's a great point. Students do have 15 days from the start of a trimester to drop a class for a study hall. So I do always emphasize that as well. Sign up for the course, try it, and if you need that extra time, then we can look at adjusting from there. So. And then all parents and guardians must sign their registration sheet to be turned in at the time of the student's registration meeting. And if a student at Cascade Junior High is currently working with Mr. Ressler, Mr. Andrews, or Mrs. Barnes, I'm going to ask that they also meet with them ahead of time with meeting with me to get their approval as well. So these next couple slides will be examples of what this form can look like. Again, this is just an example. Your registration form is unique to you, so please put your first and last name on it. And then you can see on this sheet that I circled all the required courses, and there are 11 course numbers that are circled on my journey to getting to 18. On this next slide, I have 4 course numbers that are circled. The next slide has 3 course numbers that are circled. And then I made sure that I listed 3 alternative courses. So for example, if I can't get into Intro to Business, which is a course that I had circled, I listed Art Exploration would be my number 1 pick, and then Culinary Essentials would be my second pick, and then Debate would be my third pick. So when I add everything up, I have 18 courses circled, and I made sure I highlighted in red there that the parent or guardian needs to sign off on this one as well.
And I would say the alternative courses are really important because as we go through and build student schedules, there might be times where 2 classes that they chose have to be offered at the same time. And because of that, that's where then we would go and look into some of those alternative courses that the student would be interested in. Because we do strive to make sure that as many kids as possible do get enrolled in the courses for which they sign up for. However, that is not always possible, so we do have some of these safeguards in place so that students are placed in their interest level, especially for elective courses.
All right, so on February 22nd, I will be meeting with students at Cascade Junior High School to complete their registration paperwork and get everything set up for them to register online in March. I will do that sometime in Mrs. Wolter's class throughout that day with them. And then on March 1st, I will be coming to Acwin to meet with all Acwin students, and Mrs. Roberts has worked out a schedule for students that currently attend Acwin, but I believe it is sometime in the morning that I'll be there. And I just wanted to reiterate that I will make sure that everybody is on track and has what they need. So please come with questions. If you need to reach out to me beforehand, come with questions. Or ask those questions, come with questions. I'm happy to help answer and help you through this process. I really don't want it to be an overwhelming process for anyone.
And I would say too, and add to that, is one of the nice things is that we go through this similar process every year where Mrs. Phillips does sit down with the students in the high school and make sure that they're still on track. So it is something that we will also assist with moving forward.
I want to just reiterate that as you enter high school, you're beginning your permanent educational record. So the classes that you take as a freshman matter, and they go on what's called a transcript, and that carries with you all 4 years and off to your post-secondary college that you choose to go to. So just know that the GPA that you're creating in the fall of the school year starts calculating with what you take out throughout the next 4 years, and is what you'll put on your applications as a senior.
One of the other things that we really encourage students to do is to get involved. I think the research supports that being connected and having or being involved is a factor that's directly linked to school success, not only here, but then also after high school as well. And I think that a lot of times when you start thinking about admittance to college, if you think about joining the workforce, if you're applying for different scholarships, a lot of times those people want to know things that you do outside of the school day as well. So I think all of those sorts of things are really important, and developing that group of people who are there to support you and write letters of recommendation and those sorts of things are important for you moving forward. This year we will plan, as of right now, continue to look at open house. Obviously with the COVID pandemic and different things, we are doing things a little bit different, but our plan right now is to continue to have our open house, to get our students and our parents in the building, get to know where their classes are, open lockers, those sorts of things. Over the course of summer, be on the lookout for a letter that we will mail to you with the additional information as it pertains to that evening.
Okay, I just wanted to throw out a few reminders. All students will need to register online on Western Dubuque's main website under their registration tab. So even though you are a current student now at the junior high, or maybe because you're a shared time student with taking band or PE here, you still need to complete this registration link so we have accurate information to start off next school year. Then I also need you to complete the registration form that is in your folder about the classes that you want to take for next school year. And then just remember to get the appropriate signatures that you need to sign off on these courses so we can get you registered and start building your schedules. We do want to offer that we are available for questions at any time. We've included our contact information for you, so please do not hesitate to reach out to any one of us. We're happy to help you and assist you through this process and navigation. We look forward to having each and every one of you join us in our high school next school year.
Yep, and again, the one thing that I would add early on is that we do view education and your child's success as a two-way street. So this is an opportunity for us to answer any questions you might have. because we do feel as though starting off on the right foot is important for long-term success. Also, we did mention Mr. Kedley, who obviously is not with us here this evening, but we talked about the activities and different things that we have to offer here at Cascade High School. He is a great contact to think about ways to get involved. And then, as always, if there's something that we don't have that your student is interested in, please see him to get you set up with maybe ways that we could look at creating club opportunities and those sorts of things. So as Mrs. Phillips said, we're really excited to have everybody here with us in ninth grade next year. I hope you are enjoying the spring process here, and if there's anything that we can do, please let us know.